Welcome back to Collins Country. If you're new here, I'm Courtney, and my husband and I live on a 60-acre farm in Kentucky where we focus on self-sufficiency and living off the land. And we have had so many requests this year for a full garden tour of all of the food that we grow here on our farm. So today we're gonna do that. Let's do it. So on our farm here, we have two large garden areas. We also have a raised bed garden area and then a large field behind our house where we grow our field corn and soybeans. So let's start with the garden in front of our house. So we're up here at the garden in front of our house and we grow a lot of random stuff up here. We grow our melons, which is our watermelon and our cantaloupe. We grow our squash, which is zucchini and yellow squash. We also grow some paste tomatoes for canning. We grow flowers. We grow sweet potatoes. We grow sunflowers. We grow a lot of stuff. Let me show you everything up. So up first is all of our melons in this front area of the garden here. You can tell we have two rows with different mounds. So the first row, which is actually further back, you'll see that the plants are a lot larger, and that's because we planted those first. And then our front row here with the mounds, the plants are a lot smaller, and we do that on purpose so we're not harvesting hundreds of watermelon and cantaloupe every day because we would never be able to eat it. This way we have a couple of fresh new ones every week, and that keeps going through the gardening season until the end of October when we experience our first frost, and that's what kills these out. So up front is the melons, and you can see there's a lot of melons in here. Cantaloupes back here, they look amazing. Let's come over this side and I'll show you some of our watermelons. Here's a really nice one right here. Now after our melons is our squash plants, and as you can tell, these are starting to die out, which is okay. We've been harvesting squash for weeks, but we've got some yellow squash here, some zucchini down on that end, which I'll show you when we get to that side of the garden. Let's keep going on. This entire area here is sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. I could eat them every day, and it's a superfood, and they're so easy to grow. This is actually a crop that we can grow in clay soil, and I don't know how the science behind it works, but they flourish in our horrible, hard, dense clay soil. So that's all sweet potatoes. And this area is our pumpkins. And as you can tell, there's no pumpkins to harvest yet, which is done purposefully. We didn't plant these until the end of June. That way we will have pumpkins to harvest and utilize during fall and September and October, and also in October to carve for Halloween. So that's it for the jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. Let's swing around this way and I'll show you our sunflowers. Honestly, we don't grow these to eat. We just grow them to attract the pollinators and a lot of birds. Plus they're just beautiful. So this is our sunflower patch here. They are doing amazing. For reference, I'm 5'8", and you can see these sunflowers are tall. We have a couple of different varieties of sunflowers planted here, and they are just flourishing. They are absolutely beautiful. I love it. And over on this side, you can see we have other varieties of sunflowers as well. There were a lot of mammoth sunflowers here, but unfortunately the deer really like to eat that variety for whatever reason. So only about 20% made it, but some of our mammoth sunflowers are starting to bloom and they're gorgeous. Coming around this way, I will show you our corn. This is one of the 3 types of corn we grow on our farm. This is actually popcorn corn. It's really good. It's a Japanese hulless corn, so when you pop it, there really is no kernel left, which is amazing. We have a movie theater in our basement that James built for the boys. If you've watched our YouTube channel at all, you've probably seen all those videos, but the boys and James love popcorn. They're obsessed. So we do watch a lot of movies and relax in the wintertime, and we eat a lot of popcorn, which is why we grow it ourselves. And I know if you're looking at this corn, you probably think, wow, that stuff is really small, and it is. It's purposefully that small. The Japanese hulless popcorn corn does not get very big. It's like half the size of your traditional corn. Okay, so in this area is all of our pepper plants. I think we have 25 or 30, but we grow a couple of different kinds of peppers. We have multiple different colors of bell peppers. We have banana peppers. We have jalapeno peppers, and we have these, which, I don't know, babe, are these habaneros or Thai peppers?
I don't think they're habaneros.
I don't know, whatever they
They
are.
look like chilies to me.
They might be chilies. Whatever they are, we specifically planted these this year because I want to try to make our own hot sauce. James loves hot sauce, so that'll be something new. So this is the pepper area, and I'll just show you a few up close. Pepper plants just flourish here, even in poor soil. It's the easiest thing to grow, especially organically, because we don't have any bugs that try to eat the pepper plants. But I mean, if you were to go through all these plants, there are hundreds of peppers here. I just keep picking them and keep picking them, and they just keep producing. It's awesome. Okay, let's move this way. This area here, these 2 small rows, this is some late green beans just for us to eat fresh. The other green beans in the big garden, I'll show you here in a few minutes. Those green beans we've been harvesting for over a month now. So these we will harvest in October, and we'll just eat these fresh. We will not can these. We've got some flowers over here, lots of marigolds. They're doing beautifully. We've got some paste tomato plants here, which don't have any red tomatoes on the vine currently because I literally just harvested all of them a few days ago and made some tomato sauce, but some tomatoes here. Over here is all of our cucumbers. We have 2 different kinds, and we have some that have been in here for way too long, and I need to feed them to the pigs and chickens. But these are Marketmore 76s. They're very similar to straight 8s. It's a great eating cucumber. So we've got those, and then we also have my favorite cucumber, and these are lemon cucumbers. Let me see if I can find a few. They're round, and they're kind of a yellowish color. Here's a little one. It's not very big, but I'll pick it. So I really like these cucumbers. They're good. Perfect. Okay, so then these are our zucchini plants. We've got one huge zucchini here I need to pick today. Look at that guy. That is gorgeous. We've got some smaller ones on here too. And then we're back up to the front of the garden, of course, which is where all of our melons are. So that's pretty much it for this front garden. As you can tell, it's not very big, but we grow hundreds of pounds of food in just this garden alone. So now let's head to the garden back behind our house. Now we are back at garden number 2, which is the garden behind our house. And this garden actually only grows 2 crops. This is where we grow our sweet corn and our green beans. Now, the sweet corn behind me here, as you can tell, it's starting to get demolished. We grow a variety called Silver Queen. It is so good. It's a white corn. It's really sweet. It's absolutely delicious. The problem with that, though, is we're not the only creatures around here that like it. The raccoons and the deer also love it. So by this time of the year, it's always a battle with those animals to keep them out of here. And as you can see, a lot of it has been knocked down by them and eaten by them. But that's just the name of the game. So that's the corn here. And then our green beans are here. We grow a variety of green bean called Roma 2s. It's a flat green bean. Whenever I show these green beans on social media, people always say, those are peas, those aren't green beans. But no, they really are green beans. Let me pull one up for you. I love these green beans because no matter how big they get, you can still eat them. They don't get leathery and nasty, and they never ever have strings. They are so easy to break and process, and they are absolutely delicious, and they don't turn to mush when you can them. So that's it for our second garden. Now we're heading back to the 2-acre field behind our house, and this is where we grow our field corn and soybeans. I love it. Isn't it beautiful? So this is the field that James and I plant every spring, and we're really proud of this. Everyone around us told us you can't grow corn around here. It's too hard. Every farmer's tried it, and no one is successful because we live in the hills of Kentucky where there's only clay soil and a lot of rocks. But for whatever reason, James has gotten really good at this, and every year we grow this beautiful field of field corn. We grow it for a couple of reasons. If I'm being honest, the main reason is we actually grow this as a food plot because we are huge deer hunters, and this field does a great job at bringing in a consistent, large deer population. But on top of that, we also use this corn as a supplement feed for our chickens. They love it, especially in the wintertime. We use it for our pigs, and when we get cattle, we'll also use it as a supplemental feed for them in the wintertime as well. We also grind it down into cornmeal, so it's kind of a multi-purpose field, but I love it. It is so beautiful. Let me pick an ear of corn so you can see it because it's gorgeous. Now it's not dried out yet, so it's still kind of moist. Some people also call this dent corn because as it dries out, I'll show you here, it starts to get indented. And it's not very indented yet because it's actually still pretty moist, but look at that ear of corn. Isn't that gorgeous? You can see how some of those kernels are starting to get dented in. It'll be like that once it's all dry, but it's still pretty moist. Gorgeous. So this is a standard field corn. So that's it for the field corn, and on each end of this field is soybeans. That's what you can see behind me here. And we grow soybeans, again, as another food plot for the deer, but it's also a multi-purpose food that we can feed to our chickens and our pigs and hopefully other animals in the future, more to come on that. But this just kind of creates a soft edge for the deer as they come out of the woods to give them some visibility to see around before they head into the corn. So yeah, this is it. As you can tell, a lot of it has already been annihilated by the deer, which we're not upset about because that's why it's here. But I do think it's beautiful. Just the corn here with the soybeans, it creates such a beautiful view. There's always, as you can see, so many birds here. Of course, yes, a lot of raccoons too, but that's just the name of the game again. So anyway, this is the soybeans. And just so you can see what a soybean looks like, come down in here. They're not fully grown, obviously, but see this hairy looking green bean thing? That's a soybean. So, and plus their leaves, they're kind of soft. They're a little bit fuzzy. So that is the soybeans. And all of this was planted with the 1940s Ford planter that one of our older farmer neighbors gave us. That thing is old, but it does such a beautiful job at planting this, and we love it because it's free to plant all of this every year, other than buying the seed, of course. So now we are in the area of our garden that I call our raised bed garden. And we have a lot of raised beds here that James built me out of cedar, out of the cedar trees on our farm that he cut up on our sawmill. And that's all of these. I grow a lot of tomatoes here. As you can see, I'm growing cabbage here. I did have a bed of onions over here. We harvested so many onions this year. But pretty much a lot of this has actually been harvested already, and I'm going to replant our fall garden here. I will grow some broccoli here along with a bunch of other stuff. But you can see the tomato plants behind me here. There's not a lot of ripe ones again because I just harvested a bunch and canned them the other day. But we've been getting a lot of tomatoes. Some of them are starting to get disease, but that's okay. It's starting to get closer to the end of the season, and that's just kind of inevitable. This area here, this is new. We got this raised garden bed from Vago Garden. It is gorgeous. It's 2 of their 17-inch metal raised beds with the trellis system. And up this, I have the smaller pumpkin varieties and gourds, and it's gorgeous. I mean, isn't it so pretty? Oh, I love it. They just a few days ago reached and touched together at the top from each side, and I absolutely love this. But I've got all of the little like ornamental gourds that you buy from the store growing here. I've got a new like white round gourd growing and a bunch of other stuff. So that's all of this. I really like it. And then something else on the other side of this raised garden beds along that wall over there, that is where we grow all of our blackberries, and we have a lot of blackberries. That variety is a thornless blackberry plant, and it is doing really well. So I brought you over to this side of our raised beds because you've got to see our blackberry bushes. Look at these things. They are loaded, and this is just one of the many branches. Look at how big these things get. They're huge, and their flavor is just incredible. And these blackberry bushes we got from Rural King, there's actually only 2 blackberry plants here, and they are overproducers. They produce so many blackberries. I come out here to the garden about every other day and get an entire bowl of blackberries off just these 2 plants. So this raised bed here is where we grow our carrots. Now, of course, we've already harvested all of them for this year, but I will add more manure to this over the next couple of days, mix it in real good, and actually plant more carrots because they are cold hardy and can survive a frost. So if I plant them now, we will be able to harvest them in October. And then come over this way. This is our little raspberry patch next to our kids' play set, which is so cute because they love picking raspberries fresh off it and eat it. But we have 2 different varieties here. We have your traditional red raspberry, and they are producing a lot. They're everbearing, so they produce a small amount all summer long. And then this variety over here, I think we just picked it clean yesterday, but it's actually a golden raspberry. They are so sweet and good. You can see a few, oh, here's one. Here's one right there. And they are super sweet. I think they're even sweeter, in my opinion, than the red raspberries. So good. Okay, up to one more raised bed this way. Oh man, it's getting hot and I'm getting sweaty, so let's wrap this up. We've got this big, large raised bed behind our garage here. I've grown a lot of things here, but this year we grow our potatoes here, and they did so well. Of course, we've already harvested them, but I'll plant more stuff here for our fall garden. And over here is where we grow all of our strawberries. We have 4 raised beds, and we have 2 different kinds of strawberries that we grow here on the farm. We have June bearing and everbearing. And now I'm gonna take you down these steps here into our brand new orchard. We have 12 trees here, all different varieties of apple trees and cherry trees. Now, of course, we have not harvested any fruit off of them. We probably won't for at least 2 years, but I love this new orchard. This is a dream of mine that I've always had. So to actually do it this year was very fulfilling. And we got all of these trees from fastgrowingtrees.com. I can't say enough good things about that company. They have very rare varieties of trees, and they are incredible. So that's this area. And then over here we have our plum and our pear trees in front of our beehives. And then I also forgot to show in the backyard, we do have 4 other trees back there, and that's our peach trees and 2 more pear trees. So anyway, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this garden tour. And also, I just want to say that as you can tell, we don't have a lot of space of our 60 acres that's dedicated to gardening. All of the gardening that we do, if you exclude the 2-acre field of field corn and soybeans, all of that is done in less than an acre. So it's a complete misconception that you need a lot of land to have beautiful gardens and to grow a lot of your own food. Of course, if you have any questions, let us know down in the comments below. Otherwise, happy gardening season and happy homesteading.